Hi guys, my name is Alyssa and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do Jupiter and Sagittarius. Jupiter is the planet of expansion and it's the planet of luck. This is where you get your luck. We all have a Jupiter in our natal chart. If you are super confused by this and you think this is a video about Sagittarius, you can go down on the link below that will say find your chart and you can find out where your personal Jupiter is. Jupiter travels around every 12 years. So basically around every year Jupiter is in a different sign. And Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So Jupiter finds a lot of fun and happiness in Sagittarius because it's kind of at home. In a way, when Jupiter finds happiness in Cancer and Aquarius, Jupiter is just feeling nice and at home in Sagittarius because it rules it. It's like Zeus went home to Mount Olympus. And it kind of means then that not a lot can happen if not for in your mind. I mean, it's almost like a lot of back patting, like, ooh, cool, look at me, I'm Zeus. I'm in Mount Olympus and I'm on my throne and I'm like super happy here. So you have Jupiter in Sagittarius and you're like, super happy here. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Sagittarius rules over the 9th house, right? So the 9th house is that enlightenment house, which is all the same. Sagittarius are funny, they're enlightened, they have a lot of love for a lot of people, they like to travel, they like to see things, they love other cultures, and they like to know stuff, and religions and beliefs, it's all up in that business. So really it is one big gigantic pat on the back, like look how smart I am, look how well traveled I am, because what are you doing when you are really good at traveling and learning? Like, are you going to help people with that? That depends on the rest of your chart. Right? Jupiter in Sagittarius is going to give you this information. It's going to make you intelligent. It's going to make you love how intelligent you are. It's going to make you very well traveled and love how well traveled you are. And other people will like it too. Other people will think, wow, you're amazing. You have just this light. You do all these fun things. I wish that I could be just like you when I grow up. So Jupiter in Sagittarius comes after Jupiter in Scorpio. And then next is Jupiter in Capricorn. You just went through all this relational shit, or Jupiter did when it landed in your birth chart. And then it ends up now preparing to go take over the world. But it's not yet because it's just there. It's just preparing, for what's to come. And you're preparing for something, accumulating knowledge. That is where you are going to get your luck from that preparation, from that responsibility that you take on to know things, to see things, to believe things, to keep a very open mind because things are going to change. Everything's going to change. And so you're the kind of person that we need to listen to when the shit hits the fan. You have a ton of wisdom. If you tap into your wisdom, you will have luck there. People will come and they will want to follow you. I think a lot of really great leaders and speech givers and all that, they have Jupiter in Sagittarius because they can reach a long way away with all of their information. We might go to you because you're a guru, because you're just the most intelligent person on a subject. I think that it happens that Jupiter and Sag people become the jack of all trades and the master of none, which is common in that Jupiter Gemini way. Jupiter Gemini, Sagittarius Gemini way, that opposition there. Now because the Gemini is doing so many things at one time, it's doing. Gemini Jupiter, Sagittarius Jupiter is not necessarily doing, but it's picking up at all times, all these different things. And so you have all of this knowledge, but maybe you don't have exact pinpointed knowledge on one thing. So what you have to do then with your Jupiter in Sagittarius is make sure that you do allow yourself to dive into one of your thought processes and bring it into completion in some way so that you feel like you have more to offer the world. Take anything from this video, take it as this like one big pat on the back. You love your knowledge. When people disagree with you, you get really pissed off. And so in that way, all of a sudden you are open-minded, but you are not open-minded. Because if you do not like when people disagree with your beautiful thoughts, you can't be that open-minded because you don't see that other people have different thought processes than you do, right? So you have to be very careful and not shut down other people's ideas with your immediate disagreement and disbelief in what they're possibly saying or trying to get out of it. So you can come across as highly arrogant, just the way Zeus would sit in his throne on Mount Olympus, and you got these little people being like, "Excuse me, sir, can I have some bread?" And you're like, "No, I am God, and you can't have any bread because that would be horrible because I'm Zeus and I said so." And they're like, "Well, just a little bit." And you're like, "No, because I decided somehow in my magical thinking that you don't get bread, and so I'm not gonna stop that now for you. You people are so annoying." That's what goes through your mind, that conversation that I rambled off. When you're going to experience the most fulfillment, expansion, luck is when you expand yourself. When you go off into the world and see things and travel. And in that way, also, I say you kind of have this ability to have luck follow you wherever you go. Because it's literally going to follow you when you go travel, when you go see stuff, when you let your brain go other places, when you learn. You're just going to be able to pick up so much information. And in that way, you just have to respect the little people that maybe in some way, shape, or form, they've picked up information in a place where you haven't been yet. And so if you add their information to your collection, you will have growth. If you dismiss their information as stupid and less learned than yours, you will stay in your little hole, patting yourself on the back. The best way for you to grow with this is Jupiter wants to grow, wants to expand. And so you have to expand other people's ideas. You have to grow to encompass everything. And you can be an ultimate unifier. If say even like Gemini is languages, right? And so Jupiter and Gemini might even expand language. There might be so many different languages out in the world because of Jupiter and Gemini. And here Jupiter and Sagittarius is on the other side. It can make, because an opposite kind of pulls it, right? And then that Gemini becomes smaller and Sagittarius becomes larger in the scope. If you're looking from the Sagittarius side. I'm doing this all like I'm pulling this and I'm opening it and I'm seeing Sag, and then there's a little bit of Gemini, and all of a sudden all those languages become way more compact. The world becomes smaller because your scope is greater. And you can start understanding people, universal languages, understanding how everything fits together, how astrology and astronomy, love and geography and geology, power and weakness, it all goes together, and you can form these opinions. But if you're too busy dismissing them all, you're going to stay in your own little Mount Olympus, patting yourself on the back. Every person's Jupiter has the tendency to stay in one zone because it's so easy. And Jupiter makes that place easy, right? So just like a Jupiter and Cancer person might just stay in their home because that becomes easy. With Jupiter and Sagittarius, your brain and your ability to see the world and everything and your knowledge and your wisdom is already there. But it can start looking a lot like masturbation if you don't encompass other people's ideas and thoughts with your own. But if you do know how incredibly intelligent you already are and you're not feeling so good about yourself, then let that make you feel good. You already have so much. Now you just are allowed to create more, and you can build bridges. And that is your Jupiter in Sagittarius. Thank you so much. I shall talk to you later. Bye.